All right, everybody. Let's get started on this October, or it's still Rocktober 23rd. Okay, back from vacation. I got back late last week. Matter of fact, Murad, I talked to you on Friday. You were my second day back, and I had a great time. But now it's back to work, and as you guys have noticed, the market has definitely changed. Once again, guys, today's going to be just a short, like a reminder call. It's just me and you. So if you have any questions, just hit *6. I just want to give you some things to think about with this changing market. And it's changing simply because of the interest rates and, everybody out there who owns a property that has a 2.5% and to 3-4% interest rate, they're obviously not going to move. Now, here's what's interesting to me is that 40% of the people out there have interest rates in excess of 6%. So there's a lot of people out there that didn't refinance when they couldn't refinance at 3%. So my point in saying that is the rates are important, but it's not the end all, meaning that people still do things. And as you can see, the market's still moving along. As a matter of fact, as a company, September, at least I remember I looked at all 3 states, but I remember at least in Nevada, and I'm pretty sure most of the states we're in, I believe that September was actually better. This September was better than last September. And, so we're keeping pace with pretty close to last year. Other than the first 6 months, we were, probably about 18-20% behind. But these last few months have been pretty similar to last year's, August, September, October, and so forth. So it's not dead by any means. It's kind of steady. And I think people are just looking. When we had at the end of COVID, when the interest rate, the base rate went down to 0, and then the interest rates went way down, I don't know what it was. It was like a perfect storm. And I see that starting to brew now because the interest rates are going to come down eventually, and there's going to be so many people on the sidelines. But so between now and then, what can you do? First off, you can still sell a lot of real estate, number one, no doubt about it. You can still sell a truckload of real estate. And you can build a tremendous, network. So let's start with some things I think are critically important today. Education. You need to be educated as far as the market goes. How many homes are currently on the market? I'm not going to give you exact numbers because every one of our markets are slightly different. But we all know that there's probably about a 2.5 month inventory right now, maybe a little less in some markets. And it's not because properties are flying off the shelf, it's because there's not a lot of inventory. The inventory is just tight. By the way, folks, that situation is not going away for a while because we just haven't built anywhere near the amount of homes we have. The last 15 years, only about 25% the amount of homes have been built as any 15-year, period prior to that. So just remember that. We are at a shortage of homes where there's way more people that can buy than homes available. And that's going to continue. So when the interest rates come down, it's going to be really crazy. So know your market data. I would say even your market trends. We know what's going on right now. People are waiting. The only people I would say that, it's tough to argue with a person that's got a 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4% interest rate, because even if they downsized, their payment would be similar. It's tough to say to them, no, but you should do it anyway. I believe that they should do it anyway because then they can just refinance the rate later. But some of them just aren't going to buy into that because when the market does start, going off the hinge, which it will, you're going to be up against all kinds of people. The price is going to be more. Yes, your interest rate will be less. So if you look at your next real estate transaction as a 2-step process, I personally believe that's going to be really good for you. Really, really good for you. Okay, that's just my opinion. Okay, so know your market numbers, days on market. I would even say know your own. What is my average as a real estate agent? What's my average days on market? What's my average with the sale price? Do I have any withdrawals? Do we have any expireds? That type of thing. Okay, so that's number 1 on my list. Any questions about that? Any thoughts? Anybody? All right, the next one is technology. Okay, so if there's ever been a time...
Yes, Rick, this is Murad.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear it, my man.
Yeah. So current market condition actually help us also in a way that flush out all these people who threw properties up on the market just to see if it sticks. Basically, we have more serious buyers and sellers. If they have a need to make a move, they will buy anyway, regardless of interest rate, regardless, they have a need, so they need to fulfill that need.
Right. Totally agree. I agree. Yeah. And I thought you were going to say, and it's also going to thin out the realtors, and it is doing that too. So it's doing a little of everything. When you have a market that adjusts like this, it kind of self-cleanses, right? I mean, it kind of does.
Absolutely.
Good. And so, okay, since you opened up your mic there, so what is do you know how many current homes are on the market in Las Vegas? Homes and single family condos?
I did not look at it this morning. Honestly, no. I more focus on the micro market for the neighborhood. For instance, a couple of clients I'm working with, we look for what is available within a 2-mile radius, just like a shopper, and then from there, we'll see. We'll find out what we can generate as demand in order to promote the listing.
Okay, cool. But even last week or whatever, we still have what in Vegas? About a month and a half, 2 months of inventory?
About a little bit shy of 2 months.
Just shy of 2 months, which puts us at about what, 5,000 homes?
I think it was 47, 48 last time I checked.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. So right under 5. So you got just under 2 months, which means about close to 2,500 are being consumed every month. That's pretty much that's a really good Las Vegas rate. It's really good. It's not stellar, and we've been as high as 3,500 homes going under contract. Almost 4,000 closing a few months. But those were the off the charts numbers. These are the more real everyday numbers, and so it's good to know. I mean, think about it: 2,500 homes going under contract every month. I mean, you just got to get a couple of them, right? So that's the way I'd look at it. All right, awesome. Thank you, Murad. Anything else you want to mention about that? You good?
All good.
All good. Okay, good. Yeah, and don't be afraid to jump back in there too. So, all right. So market data and market trends. So that was the first one. The second one is technology. When I say technology, I'm talking about, really like Chat GPT. I love it. When I do a talk now, I always go on there and just ask a couple questions. It gives me a couple of things. I don't plagiarize it, but I use it because I have my own way of speaking. And when you are introduced a different way to introduce the same topic, it makes you think of other things. So it's just good to use for all kinds of aspects in real estate. So I would definitely consider things like that. I'm using a new one called Opus Clip. And if you looked while I was on vacation, you could actually see the little marketing piece on my videos. It took one of my Facebook Lives that I did, I don't know, like a month ago or a month before I left. It was like 18 minutes long, and it cut it into 12, 30, 45-second clips that you could use later for content on social media. So that's what Lisa did while I was gone. So Opus Clip takes stuff that's longer, cuts it into little bite-sized pieces. That's an awesome piece of AI that I'm starting to use. Those are the only two I use right now. And then I'm also talking about technology as far as like with our company, we have the Virtual Agent Center. Every one of you should be using it religiously. Everybody you have. See, with the market being a little steady, it allows you to start doing stuff. When the market's ballistic, you're on, it's called chaos management. You're putting deals together. You're making sure you have no time for. Right now, you have time to build up your network, your technology, your database, everything. So when we start going on a run, which we will, all right, you've done all the work you need to do, right? So it's an incredible time to do that. I can remember my career several times where that's happened, where I'm able to implement other things into my business. I mean, look at guys, when I started, I used to mail and had a 1 through 31 accordion file for my CRM. We didn't even have lock boxes that you could put keys in them. You had to go to the offices. The business is so efficient right now, and if you take the opportunity to learn the tools to become more efficient, okay, you will kill it in this business. The market has given you the opportunity to do that right now. Take advantage of it. And there's all kinds of new tools out there. And when I say technology, yeah, I'm talking about, you could use a couple AI tools like I just mentioned, ChatGPT, Opus Clip. You could also start getting really good at the virtual agent center that we have. Okay, and some of you, are involved with the new one that we're introducing as a company, Berkshire Hathaway. Okay, the name fades my mind right now, but I'll think of it as we're talking. Okay, and then we also have, like things like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, okay, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. All those things are great ways to get business too. So think about this now. If you got everybody out of your phone into the virtual agent center and they're getting stuff from you, whether it be the neighborhood report, newsletters, or both, they get a couple emails from you a month. Don't go crazy. Don't overdo it so they unfollow you, right? And then you make sure all those people in your phone, in your CRM, are also connected with you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, whichever ones you're using, TikTok. There's a couple others. And make sure they're following you on your, YouTube Shorts. If you spend some time linking that all together as far as technology goes, it would pay you leaps and bounds. Okay, remember, just I have to look at it, regardless of what's going on with the market, as long as you're doing activities that cause you to get paid, high billable hour activities, things that like prospecting, lead follow-up, quality appointments. And, to me, learning all this technology and loading everybody up is like prospecting because you're going to get business from it. So if you spend some time getting really organized on that, and even the top producers will be the first to tell you that their business really turned around when they did this, what we just went through. So get organized, introduce yourself to some new technology, okay, and, start doing it. And I would recommend, as far as that goes, start doing videos at least 2-3 times a week and load up all this stuff. Your social media will go crazy. If you're not doing at least 2 or 3 videos a week right now, you're missing the boat. I do 5. Okay, so, and I started doing a couple, and I do a couple Facebook Lives, and I do a podcast, this right here. And my social media and my following has skyrocketed when I started doing all those. And I don't even implement it as much as I could. I'm just getting a little bit better at it every day, learning more. Okay, that's all you can ask. Okay, and the market is giving you the opportunity to do that right now, so take it. I would. All right, so the third one on my list is economic and financial knowledge. You should just be up as to what's going on. Okay, why are the interest rates high? Well, the interest rates are high because of inflation numbers, and the Fed has raised the base rate, which has caused interest rates in car loans, and they're trying to lower inflation. Just become relatively knowledgeable economically as to what's going on. I am not talking about learn how to qualify buyers. That's for Prosperity Mortgage to do for you. Okay? That's not for you to do. Everything right now is so, always changing. Your job is to make sure that your buyers have committed to being pre-qualified and just talking to whoever you talk to at Prosperity Mortgage to get that done. That's your job. I'm talking about just general speaking knowledge as to why the interest rates are what they are and what's going on and why is the market the way it is. Have an opinion, not a super negative or super positive opinion about it. Just a baseline opinion that you can talk relatively intelligent about it because then people are going to ask you the questions. You should have a slight opinion as to what's going on. Okay? So there you go. Economic and financial knowledge. Does anybody have any questions about any of those so far? My first 3? Okay, my fourth one is have a niche or a niche. If you're my age, it's called a niche. In today's world, it's called a niche. And I mean, what are you going to specialize in? What are you going to be known for? Okay, my little joke when I was in real estate was I was the telephone terminator because I used the phone, and the phone, it was my friend. When you get good at the phone, and I used a couple different lead sources. So what are you going to be a social media, the next social media sensation? Are you going to be a phone person? Are you going to be a door? A gigantic farm? There could be a whole bunch of different. There's so many ways, so many little niches or niches that you could do, but decide, specialize in something. You know, right now, if I was back in real estate selling, you know, I would be specializing in old expireds because it's a gold mine. If you went back the last 2 years and everybody that was on the market, whether it be Las Vegas or the Phoenix, Scottsdale area or California, wherever you are, and you went back the last 2 years, use a company like RedX or Mojo and, you know, just go back and just pay long enough to join them. Could be a month, could be two. Go back as far as you want, get as many leads as you want, talk to them, load them up in the virtual agent center, make sure you're connected with them on social media. And when the interest rates start to go the other way, some of them you'll get right away, right? Some of them you'll get right away. But you'll load yourself up with a database of, it's like putting money in the bank. Remember that. It's like putting money in the bank. All right. That every deed that you do, that's a money generating activity, it doesn't go unpaid as long as you keep going. As long as you don't quit, you're going to get paid for that. The question is when. Because you load people up in your database, you're going to get paid for that. You get good at technology and social media, you're going to get paid for that. It's money in the bank. You can't spend all the money at once anyway. All right, so decide what you're going to specialize, what your little niche should be. You could have a couple too. You really could. All right, then my last point is networking and relationships. Okay, so networking, I kind of covered that and I brought it up a few times. What is your network? How many people do you have? Right? Like, like old expireds is one. Farming is another. My sphere of influence is another. Okay? I go to Toastmasters and there's 200 people there and so I'm networking there and whatever. Just make sure every one of them is connected. You've built up and when I say a network, that means there's a human being with an email address and a phone number in your system, being the virtual agent center, that's getting drips from you. That's what I mean by a network. That's my definition. And you're also connected with them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. Okay, that's a network. You're connected with them in all these different areas, and they're sticking, meaning they're not unfollowing you, whether it be emails or social, right? Because if they are, great, it gives you room to put somebody else in there. All right? Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions of what I've covered so far today?
Yes, Rick, I wanted to add regarding the networking. Networking should be done on a daily basis. Anybody we meet in the streets, from valet to a clerk to even somebody who might think he not qualify or able to buy a home, but they might know somebody who might need help either to sell or buy a home. So basically, we're in business 100%. To sell ourselves to the people.
Yep. I agree 100%, Murad. And not only that, it's amazing how everybody has cards today. You notice that? Like I even met a woman a couple weeks ago. She had a business card. It said professional mother. I was like, that's awesome. I love it. So her email address, people have cards for everything today, or they have little side hustles. It's almost, and if you have that app on your phone, all you do is touch phones and now you've exchanged information. So there's no excuse not to do what you just mentioned, which is get everybody's information. If you talk to somebody, exchange. I was just on a cruise, like my vacation was a river cruise. I have a couple of people's names and phone numbers and so forth, the ones that I want to talk to. If I ever go to Michigan, I have a place to stay. If I ever, so you learn and meet people all the time, and developing relationships is critical. Good point.
And as funny
as cool.
Technology, I recently upgraded to the DOT, the electronic business card DOT, where you basically they tap with the card or even with the phone. I have a little chip on the phone. We tap it with any phone compatible, and it pops up your information. All they have to do is just accept, and actually they can even exchange back the information. So then they don't even have to type anything. So you have their contact.
Right.
Now it's a matter of just following up and asking them the right questions and keep in touch with them.
Right. Yep. There you go. I love it. Absolutely. All of that stuff is available. And look, you just, like I know that you're a voracious reader too, like myself. And when you're constantly listening to audiobooks and reading and trying to sharpen your axe all the time, doing these things just is like second nature, right? Because you're listening to people tell you and give you ideas all the time. I don't know. I think my attitude, as a person, as a salesperson, as a VP of sales for the company would be totally different if I didn't have audiobook, junkie mentality, meaning I'm constantly listening to new books all the time. I just started a new one this morning. Okay. And it's called, hold on, I'm going to tell you. It is called Extremely Online. I'm just trying to get better, by Taylor Lorenz. Extremely Online. It's all about the untold story and influence of how online marketing started and where it's going and all that kind of stuff. Okay? I mean, it even started with, what was that company before Facebook? I can't even think of the name of it, but it started with all those different things and how it started and why it's so important. And really, it's still, to this day, some people have tapped into it, but not a lot of people have. And I think more and more and more people will. And I think real estate's going to become, even more so done like that. But the great thing about real estate is it's always going to be the personal touch aspect, which involves the human being, you.
Rick, are you talking about MySpace?
Yes. MySpace, thank you, yes. And there was actually one before MySpace, too, I'd never heard of. And then MySpace came out, and then Facebook came out after MySpace, and then Facebook basically put MySpace out of business because MySpace wasn't versatile and flexible enough, right? I mean, MySpace had millions of followers even before Facebook started. People don't realize that.
Yep, I was on MySpace.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Well, thank you for giving me that name. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions today, folks?
No, thank you, Rick.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. Go have a great day. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Bye.